Well, I was born in Sevenoaks, which is a commuter town about 30 minutes rail journey from London, and certainly in the 1960s it was not known for its ethnic diversity. As a baby, I was brought up in a very monocultural environment, surrounded by people of the same ethnicity, as our family photo album proves. As a young child, I can remember collecting tokens from Robertson's jam jars for the golly badges, and that was what we all did at that time. When I was appointed as a vicar to a parish in inner city Coventry, I was really surprised and shocked by the stories that I heard from members of the congregation from a BAME background, many of whom had come across with the Windrush generation in the 1950s to take up opportunities for work in the NHS or on the railways. But within the churches, they had so often found exclusion and discrimination. By the late 90s, when I was appointed as vicar, things had changed greatly, and up to half of my congregation came from BAME backgrounds, and indeed both of the church wardens were also from that background. The result was a very rich mix of different ethnicities and cultures, which was wonderful from a point of view of our worship and our fellowship and our mission within that very diverse community. Now I'm in my 50s, I can look back over the span of my life to date and reflect on how much progress in many ways we have made towards a multicultural society, particularly living and working in an area like this, Wolverhampton. And yet I'm not naive about the very real challenges that still exist, particularly within a society which seems to be becoming more polarised around issues of race, religion and culture. From my own personal story, I remember last year the furore that arose in Wolverhampton as a result of a proposal to honour the former MP Enoch Powell with a blue plaque. And I spoke out against that proposal because Enoch Powell, of course, was synonymous with the famous Rivers of Blood speech that he made in 1968. And as a result of that speech, many tensions, racial tensions, were stirred up in Wolverhampton. And I remember one story of a BAME Christian family from the Caribbean who'd settled in Wolverhampton as part of the Windrush generation, actually being terrorised by some thugs as they were holding a baptism party for their infant daughter just after that speech had been made. And the thugs, who even committed a knife wound against one of the members of the baptism party, were identifying themselves with Enoch Powell and the sentiments in his speech. We've moved on such a long way in Wolverhampton and elsewhere in the last 50 years that I felt that a plaque to honour Enoch Powell would be counterproductive in many ways, and so I was happy to lead the resistance in the city to that proposal. Next year, as Bishop of Wolverhampton, I would love to think that I would appoint several more BAME clergy to fill posts within my area.